All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, we have more confirmation about Bioware's Dragon Age the Veilguard apparently getting massive refunds. Now, this is something that we've been talking about for, well, like about half a week to a week now, where there's been rumors going around about how this game is being massively refunded. And to be honest with you, the numbers pretty much point in that direction. I think it's pretty obvious at this point to anybody with a brain that this game is not being purchased as much as they would like to hope that it was. And then on top of that, the ones that did buy it, a lot of people are refunding it once they realize what's actually in it. Unfortunately, we do live in a world where there still is a lot of just normal, regular people who are not involved in the conversation. And they ended up buying Dragon Age the Veilguard thinking, oh my god, there's finally a brand new Dragon Age game after 10 years. I can't wait to play it. And within an hour, they're deciding about whether or not they want to be trans.
What the hell is even that?
Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, imagine being that person, right? Imagine being the person who is not, locked into this conversation, who is not into this particular sphere of YouTube, who maybe isn't awake to everything that's happening in the industry, but they feel like something's wrong. They feel like something's off, but they don't quite understand because they feel like they're alone in that feeling. And then what ends up happening is the people who are asleep, they buy this game. And when they buy the game thinking, gee, I finally get to have a Dragon Age game after 10 years of not having one, I can't wait to play it and dive back into the world of Thetis. What ends up happening is they just dive back into the world of Thetis that makes you trans or not. So let's get into this article, guys, from Fandom Polls. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. I genuinely believe that this game turned off a lot of normal people. There is a ton of people out there that have commented on my videos, that have commented in my live streams, and they've told me exactly that they bought this game and they refunded it after a few hours or the next day simply because they didn't realize what they were getting into. And they ended up finding my channel because of it. And that's something that's going to continue to happen. And this is how channels like mine grow. Channels like mine grow because people are out there trying to find information for something they feel is happening, but they don't quite have an understanding as to what that thing is. So they end up Googling it, they end up researching it on YouTube, and what they end up finding is people who think just like them. And that is going to be something that this game is going to do right, thankfully, which is wake up a lot of people. So it says a second source from inside Bioware and EA has seemingly affirmed the disastrous sales numbers that have been floated for Dragon Age the Veilguard. First, YouTuber Endymion claimed that the game only sold 500,000 copies total in a little over a week, which, again, guys, we covered that already multiple times, and I don't even think the number's that high anymore. I really don't. In a recent video upload, he stated this is from my same source that I shared previous Dragon Age pre-order numbers with, which was in my video a few days back. Apparently, according to them, pre-orders for Veilguard were even less than initially thought. I told you in the last video that there were roughly 115,000 total pre-orders across all platforms. That's digital and physical, by the way. And new info that my sources now told me that the numbers actually may have been too high. The number that they are hearing from people at EA now is that it was actually between 70 to 75,000 pre-orders in total before release, which is, not good at all. In total, what I'm told is that Veilguard may have sold overall so far anyway in the 500,000 range, which may sound good to some, but this is a complete abysmal for the game of this level, he added. Now, again, we talked about this many times, and I'm going to say it one last time. When it comes to Dragon Age the Veilguard, something that is a legacy IP, something that has history, has like renown to it, everybody knows what it is for the most part in gaming, for you to sell 500,000 copies or less within the first couple of weeks of you being released, I'm going to call that a flop. I'm going to call that a flop, especially when you're well over $200 million in budget. I'm going to call that a flop. 10 years of development? Yep, big flop, in my opinion. Not only did he share that the game's sales were only around 500K, but that he also revealed that players are refunding the game in droves. Now, this is what I want to talk about, because the refunds are something that has been rumored for quite a bit now, for a few days, and rightfully so. If you keep looking at Game Analytic, right? Game Analytics numbers keep going down. Every single week, the numbers go down. I have never seen a video game where the game is out for XYZ amount of time and the estimates of sales keep going down. I've never seen that. I've only seen the number tend to go up as the days progress because people are obviously buying the game and not really refunding it too often. But this is one game that a lot of people are saying they refunded. One of my subscribers, UK Jamie, told me specifically that he refunded the game after realizing what was in it because he had no idea. He didn't realize what was in it, and now he's one of my subscribers. So again, it's one of those things where people are out there unable to actually know what's happening, or they're just not in it. And this is why it doesn't matter how many Dragon Age videos we make. We can make 100 Dragon Age videos in a month. All of them are important because every video means it's a chance to reach somebody new, which is exactly what happens, and that's how word gets around. So it says, Endymion stated, as I was told by my same source, Bioware's higher-ups believe that the game would skyrocket past 100,000 concurrent players on Steam during launch. It didn't, of course. It only hit 89,000 and has dropped since then. Apparently, in terms of EA subscription service, where you pay a monthly fee to play their catalog of games, which Veilguard is part of, this offer only ended up pulling in around 20,000 players on Origin, as I'm told, which is hardly anything for a game that, again, needs far more than this to succeed. Now, the whole Origin thing, I was telling people on Saturday Night Hypnosis that even if this game wasn't woke, okay, let's just say the game's not woke and it was just a regular Dragon Age game that everybody wanted to play and it sold like hotcakes. I'm going to tell you right now, this game was never going to reach Inquisition numbers. It just never was. The reason why is because it came out at a time where subscription services are a thing, and in my opinion, are ruining retail sales of video games, absolutely ruining them. It is making these games sell far less on the retail side than they ever did. And sure, they're getting a few people to play on the subscription service, but 20,000 players is not a lot compared to you getting well over 20,000 sales in permanently, mind you, if you were to sell something that actually people wanted. So Origin and stuff like Origin is usually not profitable. There's very few subscription services out there that are actually profitable, very few. And the ones that are profitable have been around for the longest time. Even Netflix has been considered to be debatable when it comes to profitability. So ultimately, this is not a good business strategy, and you sacrificing your retail sales, making your numbers lower than they ever would have been in the past, is not a good look either for overall, the company. Then it says that I'm also told, in terms of refunds, that currently the game had at least 30,000 refunds in the past few days, which is not good for your game that has barely sold 500,000 copies to the hemorrhaging players like this. He then shared, so generally speaking, Veilguard is not a commercial success. It needed to sell around 4 to 5 million mark to make a profit at least. Well, it's not doing that. Now, I said that many times. This game needs 4 to 5 million sales because you have to account for Steam's cut. You have to account for the other retailers' cut. You have to account for the fact that not every dollar goes to EA and Bioware, obviously. So with that all being said, they have to hit a certain number in order to at least break even or slightly profit, and 4 to 5 million was that number. Now, a second insider has informed Smash JT that the numbers shared by Endymion are exactly accurate. Smash JT shared in a recent video, Dragon Age Veilguard sales numbers are leaking out. Between Endymion and myself, I confirmed with a source that the numbers that Endymion have released are accurate, and holy crap, are they pathetically low for a very big, mass-produced, highly touted, praised to be a great classic adventure that people will love for the ages has turned into what this stuff always does, woke slop that people sniffed out immediately. Shout out to putting McDuggins in the thumbnail, Smash JT. That is absolutely epic in every way. So yes, obviously, this game was considered woke slop. Everybody saw it. I saw it. You saw it. We all saw it. It's one of those things where we sniffed it out, but unfortunately, there are people out there that aren't tied to this conversation. Like I've said many times, that weren't able to sniff it out because they don't know. So they buy the game, they get into it a couple of hours, and they realize what they bought, and then they refund it. That's exactly what's happening here. So I wish that we can get a clear-cut number on the refunds, because to be honest with you, I gotta be real with you. I really do believe that it's well over 100,000 at this point. It has to be across all platforms. I gotta imagine we're getting damn near close to that, because the numbers are just not going up. They keep going down, and I very rarely see that in history when it comes to video games. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.